Now, how many know Sally Love Saunders? Oh, okay. So okay, and I don't have to introduce that part. I'll introduce the other part. The woman has an imagination, a connection to the word that goes way, way back. She can talk about writing poems when she was a very little, teeny, tiny person. Okay. She enjoyed it then. She enjoys it now. She's used her talent and her skills as a poet, as a writer, to help other people. And you think, oh my God, people can help people through poetry. It's true. She's done that. She's done workshops and she's done healing with other individuals. She's worked with medical professions. She is a person who's taken her poetry to a level that most people go, what? I know that's possible. So she has a wide variety of styles and things that she writes about, and I know you're going to enjoy that. So rather than listen to me, we're going to have you listen to her. Sally Love Saunders, kindly come up here, please.
Well, Justice, according to your preferences.
Oh, wow. It's good to
She always does this. All of a sudden the place gets full. Okay, so this is good like this?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh. I've been looking forward to this so much, I don't know if this is just me looking forward to it, if it's already...
Here, let me help with the mic a little bit.
Oh, what?
Let me just help this a little bit.
Oh, okay,
A little lower.
okay.
That's a little better.
Can we put the mic in front of you too, Sally, or
Yeah,
talk to your
because
side?
you'll hear it, you'll be heard.
I'm nobody's ever told me I'm not talking loud enough. Usually I keep your voice down.
That's good, if you stand there, that'll be...
Okay,
The mic is your friend then.
today, Wednesday, August 2nd, I saw a coyote up close. And the coyote saw me. Coyote so worried, looking and skinny. Did someone disturb his home? His face crying, his body wiry and windblown. Coyote walked away, then we met again. So much to talk about, so much to share. In a few days, I'll read new poems at Sacred Grounds. I'm a Twitter, like getting ready for company or getting ready for the junior prom. Days ahead, starry and sunning self. In a few days, I'll read new poems at Sacred Grounds. You know what? If you could please hold the applause till the end, then I can get more points in.
Sure.
Thank you. Bringing newborn poems to Sacred Grounds, a baptism, a baby poem shower. Use Sacred Grounders, godparents, and family to write new poem babies. At a poetry reading, we gather lone buffaloes roaming the barren plain. We join, making a crowd, making lovely sounds loud, thundering and galloping. I am at home here with the noise, surprised to be at home, new oneness. Yes, I'm one of the herd, pounding. This poem is written in whispers. I'm a still lake with greenery growing around, graced by beautiful bird poets at Sacred Grounds who come and visit my lake.
You want a green tea, right?
Here's a very recent poem I wrote. I was at the park in the Panhandle, and there was a Dalmatian dog, and there was a Tai Chi person, and they weren't together when they came to the park, but they were together in the park in spirit. So I wrote a poem about them just a few days ago. Dancers in the park. Trim pointed pointer dog, studied moves so carefully, no extra skin. Pointer dog pointing at a Tai Chi artist who also measures movements. They seem to be so aware of each other. as though partners in space. I went back a day later, and the dog was there, but the dancer wasn't there. So it was just that moment that I was able to capture. August 2nd at Sacred Grounds, so tickling in my mind for so long. I'm feeling like a dolphin, spinning up in the air, twirling. You, my friends, are on a cruise ship, watching. We're all enjoying sunshine and splashing. Buckets. When I was 6, I had a tin bucket that was colorful and rusty. It held sand, but not water. Yet Bucket and I went to the beach daily to enjoy sun, water, and sand. Now I'm old. I have a make-believe bucket, a bucket list of all I want to do before I die, before I kick the bucket. As when I was 6 and had a bucket, this bucket has holes, so sometimes what I put in it leaks out. I cannot control what stays and what leaks out, because often sand leaks out with water. So there's never been a bucket in my life that holds all I want to hold. How about if we were all airplane flyers, writing words in the skies, writing poems, poetic thoughts? We would waltz by each other and bow our hats. What would you write? What would you want to read? Taking a million baths, the glorious golden water from the very full moon showers onto me, cleansing my body and soul, making very clean. The moon, a magnet. As a toddler, I struggled to the window ledge to see the light moon. Couldn't quite say moonlight. Taking a moon bath, the glorious golden water from the very full moon showers onto me, cleansing my body and soul, making very clean. I wrote a poem, so satisfying. Must be like a chicken who laid a warm egg. I wrote a poem. I gave birth. Vacuum cleaner lady. With great noise and force, you suck in people, resources, again people, into your devouring belly. Memories, golden fishes swimming gracefully in the bowl of clear water, which is my soul. So alive they swim, displaying their beauty. Downsizing. Greg, thank you for reading my poem. He has the most wonderful program every Wednesday at 2 o'clock, except the first Wednesday, it's for 45 minutes. It's a Senior Center Without Walls, and you call in and he reads poetry, and it's just a wonderful treat. I couldn't recommend it more. And today he read one of my poems, and here he is, the Greg Pond. Downsizing. A poem or a song should be written about downsizing. When I was a teenager, the buzzword was junior prom. Then it was a talk about getting married and having babies. Now I'm in my 70s, and I have many friends there too. And what do we talk about now? Downsizing. Downsizing has created a new look for my apartment. Parts of it look new, like a minimalist would have, giving away treasures to younger family or friends. Ensure that they have a longer life. Like at Easter time, now with me hunting for places to put treasures. Downsizing has its own beat. First music act is slow, then it gets going and picks up speed. Downsizing, a song or a poem, should be written about downsizing. One of the topics I did in one of my workshops was the silliest thing you've ever done. I think it's important to be silly. It was in an auditorium at the University of California Medical School. I was a featured poet to give the talk on the healing power of poetry. Students came in white coats, doctors with stethoscopes around their necks, a dear friend with a silk scarf positioned in his pocket. The chairs all lined up. I had prepared and re-prepared business briefcase at my side. Something wasn't right. I did not know what. Jim kept pointing to my feet. Why, I didn't know. Then I realized I should look at my feet, which I did. And lo and behold, toilet paper was attached to my heel. So I said, now that the ice is broken and ripped it off, sometimes I think about the toilet paper talk and wonder if I should again plant a long piece of toilet paper in my heel. I feel a poem coming on, like the ocean curling into itself, preparing to lunge and splash, covering all rocks nearby. I feel a poem coming on, my back arched up like a cat ready to hiss and spray. I feel a poem coming on. Soon there'll be angry cloudbursts of rain words, drenching words, plenty of rain words. I feel a poem coming on. Soon, very soon. Senior Circus. There is a senior circus. I'm sure you know what I mean. Those seniors who dazzle us with amazing acts like going to Rome off the surgery table, and are running marathons in their 70s, and working with sharp minds into their 80s. Well, there is a senior circus, and I'm sure you know what I mean. But I am a lazy old southern dog, swatting flies in the shade. I cannot dazzle you with any amazing circus acts. Just smiles. Paper listens, and listens and listens, page after page. It doesn't roll up to stop. It does not rip away. Paper listens and listens, page after page. Paper catches my points like a professional baseball player catches a baseball. Clip, it's caught. In the corner of the glove, not to drop. A poem kicks at the door of my mind. Not now, I lazily reply. I'm half asleep. Later. There is no later. I want to come in now and be seen. Later, I will have vanished. I like it best. At silence, we slice through huge hills and valleys, the car a very sharp knife finding the way. It is as though this sharp knife slices through warm, buttery hillsides. We are riding so smoothly, no spot on windshields, no curious noise, just sliding along, as if on a silver sleigh, enjoying, 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 mile after mile, hour after hour. Silence hums to me. The brooks gather around my ankles and giggles. Stillness cradles me mentally. I lie on my back with outstretched arms, no input of computer, telephone, or visitors. Silence hums to me, my soul in a hammock, on a lazy hot summer afternoon. Life is perfect, fully round and airborne. Driving off from poets' gatherings, the different topics, voices, and feelings making a mosaic of my heart. The car, the needle, sewing together all the pieces. Remembering with a soft smile, flashlight under sheets, writing poetry when parents thought I was asleep. Remembering grabbing for a napkin to catch a poem. Remembering the smile on a gray-haired migrant laborer when the poem he wrote was publicized in the local newspaper, and we put it on the cinder block wall of his home. Remembering with a smile making poetry with Navajo children in classroom in Navajo land. Remembering with warmth the moon outside my window, winking at me and calling me a poem. Remembering coming to Sacred Grounds when I first came to San Francisco and read my poems and made friends with Teddy Gilbert and Red Stewart. Boy, that was back in the very early 70s.
Yeah.
Hello, paper. I've come to visit with you. Nothing in particular to repeat or ask. Just want to be with you Enjoy your receptiveness and quiet and space. The lines receiving me, space to be. A piece of paper all to myself. You don't criticize or bite at me. Your neutrality beckons me. My head is in a blender. Whirl, spin, chop. When it stops, the air is quiet and still. But then someone comes in and pushes me to spin, and I spin. And my ice sprays out the top and makes a mess, a sloppy mess. People come in to clean up the mess and say, oh, what a mess. Poetic thoughts gurgling but stuttering. Pen cannot catch these poetic thoughts. They flit around like electric tiddlywinks. So I bring cooling balm of paper to catch them like a safety net, and they land nicely on paper. Phew! I see you there, round-faced moon, peeking in my window as I sleep. Your face so perky and round, but you choose not to send warmth. Just look at me with your very round face. I'm cold and I could use warmth. The yellow blanket of your rays would feel so nice, but you choose to just stare with your perfect face. I never knew my grandmother, but my mother showed me her home and her lace, and even the lace my aunt inherited, as though the lace was my grandmother's footprints and fossils of her being. I do not own any lace. My poems are my fossils, to hopefully be looked at in future generations. Blind date. You are using me as a dartboard, throwing your talk at me to see pattern of darts reflected back to you. All I am is pinned to the wall, flat as wood. Ouch, you're hurting me as you pass darts of your talk, all about you at me, ouch. All I can hear is the ping of darts, ping, 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 ping. So much it is deafening. Let me out of this table, out to fresh air, out to moving once more. Just one little star. Or is it a sheep in the sky? But mostly empty sky, empty of golden moonlight, empty of smiling moon face. Just one lonely lost star, lost from its galaxy family, all alone in cold metal sky. The moon is not here. He's totally left. Visitor I now have is the foghorn, who is pompous and too talkative, but I can't shut him up. My moon friend comes quietly and sits by me, hums and sends sweet vibes. I miss my moon friend. Looking forward to our concert in a few hours. I'll read my poems and your ears will reverberate, and together my poems and your ears' instruments will make beautiful music. The rafters at Sacred Grounds will rise and echo our symphony. Looking forward to our concert in a few hours. Here's another one about the moon. I like to think of myself as a moon poet. Sweet moon, a poem kicking loudly in my womb, like drumming noise wanting to be heard. The kicking poem about how when I'm injured and in pain, the moon comes in more often to look in on me. Yes, the moon visits me more often when I'm injured and in bed. Sweet moon. I'm looking for my companion, the moon. He's nowhere to be found. Guess he's busy sweeping clouds of dust away to set the stage for rain. The moon, my most frequent visitor, while sick and lying in bed. He comes unannounced and stares at me as I sleep. Sometimes he brings his grandchildren, the lively stars. Beautiful round full moon, hiding behind the shade of cloud, so that all that peeks out is a sliver of gold. How I wish you could raise the shade that hides you. write poetry. Poems come to me and say, excuse me, then write. The words settle down on paper on their own obedient children in uniform. We've all known people who have cooked delicious meals for us or watched magic shows. Now it's my turn to bring you freshly written poems. I hope they smell like freshly baked bread. I'm a cook with words. My recipes are my soul, my heart voices. Knowing you was a dance in and out of shadows. Sometimes you danced in sunlight, other times you disappeared into darkness. I watched you dance for many years with many different backdrops. Now the curtain is down. Stunned, I sit in gallery, unable to get up and move away. Knowing you was a dance, in and out of shadows. Sometimes you danced in sunlight, other times you disappeared into darkness. Cake baking spoon eaters, you know what I mean? There you are in the kitchen baking like brain surgery, and in walks your brother. Licks the spoon and is off. I don't bake anymore, nor do I have a brother. But still, there are cake spoon lickers in my life. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
I didn't mean to blow you away like a dandelion. Now all that's left is a stump of dandelion after all the petals have taken flight. I didn't mean to blow you away like a dandelion. It is 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. My pilot light is burning. Quiet, even sirens are asleep. Every cell in me is alive and humming, ready to create, to write, something so very juicy about the very early morning when I wake. Underpinnings. My life's so full of stitches, holding together people in my life, connecting us, grounding us, endless run of stitches, like a sewing machine. I stitch, stitch, pin, and more stitch. Am I making a quilt with a pattern, a life design, or will I be a perpetual state of being pinned together? Poetry, my best friend. I can pull you up around my ears and shield out the world. You cozy my life, giving me a fireplace when I need it. Poetry, my center. A proud parent. Poems are my babies. They grow from me. I tend to them. I don't know if they'll grow up straight and strong or not. First time I see them on paper is like the nurse bringing to the new mother at a delivery room, in a book, their graduation day. Full moon. It is 4 a.m. Very full moon is leading the whole world in spirituals. I can hear outside my window. Full moon, you are leading us in song. Bug eyes. Oh, yes, I hear. Now there is hushed silence, like only in a symphony hall before the music begins. You are here listening, enjoying divine spiritual music. The moon in its full bloom, perfect state, like a peacock with feathers full. Silence is miracle grow from my green sprouting poems. Green fields of silence so welcoming to new crop of poetry. Abundant sweet silence is miracle grow from my green sprouting poems. I'm a word painter. I carve sentences out of soapstone and rub my hand over them until they're smooth. I'm a balloon woman. Many colorful balloons follow me. I can choose which idea, which plan, or which person to see it win. Easily I can let one balloon float away so I can let the air out. I like to be a squirrel, easily running up and down tree trunks. I'm a gold panner, finding gold nuggets of poetry and people who thought there wasn't any. I'm a poet. Words are my craft. Like a blacksmith, I hammer and hammer away until the lines fit. Into the furnace of my mind they go, and out into the cool, onto the metal working space. Sometimes I'm a glass blower, the fire of my feelings forging shapes and forms. Sometimes I'm a smiling, toothless 6-year-old with pigtails, saucer eyes, and a big smile. Sometimes I'm an adolescent, moody, wondering, who am I? Who am I? I'm the question, not the answer. Here's a poem I wrote about Greg Fun. We gathered at his feet as siblings do to parents or a grandparent who reads and tells stories. Greg, our father, nourishes us, and we are delighted, amused, warmly touched. Our separate responses harmonize. Don't forget, afternoon, 2 o'clock. Tune in.
They'll give you all the information.
Wish you could stand up here. Wish you could stand up here on my hands, so to set the stage of doing backward. What I want is for me to now clap, and before I read, expressing my gratitude to you, the listening souls, who nourish me and my poems. So now, I want to step backwards and clap for you. Would Miss Manners say bad manners to write on demand, ignoring polite conversation? Would Miss Manners say about begging the waitress a napkin to quickly write? One time I was in the ladies' room and I had an inspiration and I needed to get a towel to write it on. And there was, you know how some people are very slow pulling down the towels? Thinking of you sounds like two metal needles, knitting briskly yarns of varied colors and textures, the patterns forming questions, regrets, and memories. Such clicking as the needles cross backwards and forwards up in front of my eyes. The poem is caught in my throat. The ink on the pen dry. For some reason the words won't flow. Frozen feelings, like on a very icy day in New Hampshire. Long for the thaw of words with gushing movement until free of what is trapped inside. Dockside. My boat is in a harbor these days. It's rocking gently and not traveling any place. It feels good just to be in the harbor with the charts folded and the compass ignored. There aren't any train whistles haunting me in the night. I'm not concerning myself about the morning, when distant winds will call me and faraway sands will beckon. Questions of future plans, buzzing flies I brush away. I'm not looking around the bend. There are no winds pushing me to move. It's enough for now to be very much nestled here in this harbor with my sails folded and my engine off, soft waves lapping against my side so very soothing. My boat is in a harbor these days. It's rocking gently and not traveling any place. How am I doing on time?
You got about a minute, something like that.
Disillusioned. Once I thought I could jump onto the petals of an apple tree, but found they were as light as air. Once I thought all leaves were lovely and never saw the scars. Today she offered a helping hand to hope that it may be filled with praise. Like a child throwing an armful of leaves into the air, the sun pushes its rays above the width of the ocean. Let me use whatever time I have left, the seconds I have left, to invite you all. The Cultural Integration Fellowship, October 22nd, which is just a block from here. It's at 5th and, no, 3rd.
Third and Fulton.
3rd and Fulton.
So it's not
And
a block from here. Oh, wait a minute, Third and Fulton, yeah.
Well, no, Fulton's a block from here, but the 3rd is down that way.
Down,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, a block as far as a rocket goes.
A rocket block.
Yeah, but we have a lot of fun. It's all about bringing poems you like to share, and then they have wonderful refreshments, and it's just kind of like a poetry party, wouldn't you call it, Dan?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
And then lastly, on January 10th, I'll be back here to turn 78. So I hope you'll all come.
All right.
Let's see. Wanted to be sure to get that in. But daybreak, like a child throwing an armful of leaves into the air, the sun pushed its rays above the width of the ocean. Now how much time do I have?
Yeah, you got room for a couple more shorts. All right.
Left behind, a leaf falls, a grain of sand rolls. A leaf falls and is covered by snow. A grain of sand rolls and is carried out to sea. An event happens but is left behind in a tear. But let me just, instead of reading a poem, I just want to thank you for being here and with your ears really focused on me. It's just been a wonderful experience. You know, as a poet, you write, and you wonder, gosh, am I just wasting paper? And to be able to share it with you has really been a wonderful experience. I guess you can see my goosebumps. So instead of reading the last poem, I just want to thank each one of you. I felt such a wonderful connection with all of you. And I can't thank you enough. And thank you for doing this.
Give her a round. Thank you.